they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams.
Right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Gaddis goes live. All right. Hello, Deronda, 504 NOLA. Mel is in the house. Retired Federal Banks. All right. Buckhorst, DC. Claudette. The lovely T. Perplex is here. All right, let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. Also, hey, Khalid. Also, don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving those notifications. All right, shout out to everyone tuned into the Queen. Special shout out to my moderators, because y'all know they be putting in work. All right, most hated bronze flat power God. We the people is in the building. Rose Gold is here. Okay, so let's start off with a brief word from my sponsor, the 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And she sells a lovely beard oil as well. Okay, so let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. Thank you in advance. Okay, so first things first, they say Diddy has been approved by a judge for an expedited appeal. Okay, so let's talk about that. Judge grants Sean Diddy Combs' request for expedited appeal schedule. The hip hop mogul's lawyers are hoping to curtail his 50-month prison sentence. All right, so Sean Diddy Combs' request for a speedy appeals process was granted by a judge Monday, 4 days after he was transferred to federal prison in New Jersey to begin serving a 50-month sentence on 2 interstate prostitution convictions. Now, U.S. Circuit Court Judge Beth Robinson approved Combs' ask in a 2-paragraph order. Combs' lawyers are hoping to curtail the length of the fallen hip hop mogul's time behind bars. Now, Robinson, who sits on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit based in New York, outlined a prospective appeals schedule. She said that Combs' brief is due by December the 23rd. Okay, the U.S. government's brief is due by February the 20th, and Combs' team's their reply is due by March the 13th. Now, if that timeline holds, oral arguments will take place as early as April. Okay, that'll be April of 2026, according to the judge's order. Now, Combs was convicted this summer on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, also known as the Mann Act. He was acquitted on more serious charges, a count of racketeering conspiracy, and 2 counts of trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Now, U.S. government prosecutors had accused Combs of orchestrating a sprawling criminal enterprise and forcing women to participate in marathon rug-fueled sexual encounters, known as freak-offs. He pleaded not guilty and denied wrongdoing. In a filing last week, defense attorney Alexandra Shapiro said that Sean's appeal will challenge the unfair use of the Mann Act, an infamous statute with a sordid history, to prosecute him for sex with consenting adults, she says. Now, Combs was transferred to the federal prison at Fort Dix, New Jersey on Thursday. The prison is a large, low-security federal complex for men located in New Hanover Township, and it houses roughly 4,000 inmates. Let me say something. You know what I just thought about? I find this very interesting that after all of this talk that they did while Diddy was on trial, and even since when they were acting like Diddy is so nefarious and so dangerous and everybody's scared, shut the door, lock it, put up the deadbolt, and lock the windows and draw the blinds. Isn't that how they were acting like Diddy's such a terror, basically a nightmare on Elm Street? I mean, the victims are all afraid. Cassie wrote this letter. Actually, I think her lawyer, Doug Wickdor, wrote the letter, okay, if I'm just being honest. But they had letters from Cassie, allegedly, and her best friend, Dwayne Nash, or Dante Nash, whatever. He wrote a letter as well. But you know who didn't write a letter? And I didn't even think about this until my friend brought it to my attention last night. Okay, you know that person who's Jane Doe listed as, who dated 50 Cent? That person didn't write a letter talking about he was afraid and fearful, or that she was fearful, or that she worried about her safety. That's who didn't write a letter. Okay, that's who didn't. And neither did Gina. Not right. So I just want you all to pay attention. At the end of the day, now they're saying that Diddy has been placed in a low minimum security. That means people that are not a flight risk, or people that, pretty much they don't feel it's a danger, people that they don't think would try to be plotting an escape and all of that. Don't y'all find that interesting? Because then some other YouTuber whose name I won't call because I don't need to, we all know who the liar is. Didn't they say that Diddy had planned a whole jailbreak? Do you all remember that once in the chat, if you all remember me bringing it to your attention that a liar who lies, okay, on YouTube did a whole video saying that Diddy had planned this elaborate jailbreak, okay, from prison, that he was plotting, and that it was exposed. Do y'all remember that? See how the lies are just all coming to light continuously? I find it interesting that the judge himself acted as though, and the prosecution to boot, okay, and Cassie and Deontay Nash acted as though Diddy was so scary that they had to fear for their lives if he got out. They would have to live in perpetual states of fear and probably have to flee. That's how desperate they made it sound. But now, for us to only find out that Diddy is in a prison that has, lax security. I'm not going to say lax, but, minimal security, basically. The prison is a large, low security federal complex. Low security. Basically club fed. But they acted like Diddy was so dangerous they couldn't give him a bail. I just want y'all to resonate on that. They acted like they couldn't give that man a bail the whole time he was in there because he was so dangerous. Okay? I want y'all to pay attention. Dornicia said number one queen with the receipts. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Okay. Dorada said liars always gonna lie. Yes, they absolutely will. So anyway, they go on to say that it's a prison, a large complex, low-level federal complex, and men located in New Hanover Township, and it houses roughly 4,000 inmates. Now, the rapper is currently set to be released May 8th of 2028, but he could be let out earlier for good behavior or completing certain programs in prison, like I already told you all. Okay, he has already spent 14 months behind bars following his arrest in September of 2024. That's why he should already be out. 14 months, that's long enough for Mann Act violations. We already know it's rooted in racism. Should have already been out. And this whole thing about 5 years supervised release, yeah. Do Mann Act convictions usually get supervised release after the fact? Yeah, they don't. Okay, they don't. Now, but anyway, that's the news on Diddy. Now let's talk about Trump. And by the way, for anybody wondering, Diddy's absolutely going to win that appeal. He's going to win that appeal because, first of all, he has Brian Steele. Okay, like I told y'all, that's one of the best, if not the best, appellate attorney in this country. Okay, 45 reversals in over 300 cases. All right, so anyway, with that all been said, let's talk about Trump and the SNAP benefits. SNAP benefits will restart, but will be half the normal payments and delayed. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. This low down dirty devil named Trump, this is what he's doing. He's put the SNAP benefits on layaway. Y'all just going to get pieces of it, piece by piece. The Trump administration says it will restart SNAP food benefits, but it will only pay out half of the amount that people would normally get. Now, the administration will use money from an agricultural department contingency fund. The administration says there's only $4.65 billion available in the fund to pay the SNAP benefits, which is roughly half of the $8 billion in food assistance payments people receive every month. Where's the rest of the money, Trump? Did you give it to Argentina? Now, in a court filing, officials said, and here's the thing that I find interesting. Remember how we were all complaining about how Biden was sending all that money over to Ukraine? And then Trump even came out and said something about that. And now look at him doing the same thing. Doing the same thing. When are people going to realize these parties are just the same? They just have, different methods of getting to the same conclusion, in my opinion. But let me continue. So anyway, it goes on to say, in a court filing, officials said depleting that fund means no funds will remain for new SNAP applicants certified in November, or disaster assistance, or as a cushion against the potential catastrophic consequences of shutting down SNAP entirely. Okay, this is what the Trump administration declined. They declined to tap any additional funds for SNAP, saying that could take money away from other child nutrition programs like school lunch and breakfast programs. I told you all this yesterday. That's the story they want to stick to, but they convinced me with it because do you really think they care about kids getting lunch, meals at school, or breakfast? They don't. Trust me, they don't. If they did, they would have never stopped the benefits in the first place and called the whole government shutdown. And they knew exactly what they were doing. And they basically did this methodically so that they would have room to leverage some sort of to try to basically pin this on the Democrats. Okay, because what they did is they knew the Democrats weren't going to go for that offer they were giving them. Okay, about health care. They knew they weren't going to go for that. They knew they weren't going to go for it. So they said, okay, they're not going to fall for this. And then we'll just use that, it's leverage to have everybody blame them for the shutdown and why they're not getting their benefits. Even though we want to get rid of SNAP altogether, we've been plotting on this for a while. And we're so thrilled to know that finally, at long last, this is within our reach. Okay? I just want y'all to pay attention. Yes, Wisdom Born. Peace to you, beloved. I'm sorry. I was reading the wrong comment or reading the wrong name for the comment. It said both the same. Gloria said yes, both the same. It's yes, exactly, beloved. I absolutely agree. Okay, I absolutely agree. Now, so they go on to say that the decision comes after two federal judges ruled that freezing payments for the country's biggest anti-hunger program is unlawful, even as the money ran out this week for the 42 million people who rely on SNAP to put food on the table. The government's response is part of the case in Rhode Island. Now, the Trump administration had until Monday to tell two federal judges its plans to restore funding for SNAP amid the ongoing federal government shutdown. Now, the administration warns there could be lengthy delays before SNAP benefits get into the hands of the low-income families who depend on SNAP to put food on the table. About 1 in 8 U.S. residents get an average of $187 a month per SNAP, okay, for each person, which stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Nearly 39% of recipients are children and adolescents under 18, according to the Department of Agriculture, okay, which administers the program. Now, citing the government shutdown, USDA froze funding for SNAP beginning on November the 1st. The first time that's happened since the country's largest anti-hunger program began 6 decades ago. On Friday, two federal judges ruled that this pause is likely unlawful. Now, both judges said that Congress provided more than $5 billion in emergency funds for exactly this kind of situation, and they rejected the Trump administration's argument that it could not legally use that money to keep SNAP going. It not only can use the money, but must use the money, the judges said. And this is two judges, not one. Now, in Rhode Island, Judge John McConnell Jr. called for the contingency funds to be used as soon as possible. A second judge Indira Talwani in Boston said officials could also tap additional money from from customs revenues. But she left that decision up to the Trump administration, which it has declined to do so. I mean, there's no shock there. Now, Democracy Forward, the legal group that represented cities and nonprofits in suing the government after it froze funding for SNAP, said Monday that it is weighing its next steps to try to secure full funding for the food assistance program. Saying it shouldn't take a court order to force our president to provide essential nutrition that Congress has made clear needs to be provided. This is what Democracy Forward president and CEO Sky Perriman said in a statement, also adding that, but since that is what it takes, we will continue to use the courts to protect the rights of the people. After the rulings were issued Friday, Trump posted on social media that his lawyers would seek clarity from the court on how to fund SNAP. And if they got it, it would be my honor to provide the funding, just like I did with military and law enforcement pay, he said. Trump, sit down somewhere with your stupid self. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told CNN Sunday that the Trump administration would not appeal the judge's ruling. He said it's possible that funding for SNAP could be restored by Wednesday, but there's a process that has to be followed. We've got to figure out what the process is. They don't even know what the hell they're doing. Okay, that's what I want you all to pay attention. They don't even know. They don't even know how to disperse the benefits according to them. Are they really that stupid, or are they just playing the games and playing in our faces again? Okay. And by the way, let me correct myself, because on the previous broadcast, I told you all that it was House Speaker Mike Johnson who said the benefits could be passed out on Wednesday, but it was actually Scott Bessent. Now, the government said Monday that state agencies will have to recode their eligibility systems to adjust for the reduced benefits. And it's unclear how quickly state systems will be able to do that. Now, it warned that in some states, these systems changes will take anywhere from a few weeks to up to several months. What are people supposed to do in the meantime? The Trump administration has previously said that calculating partial payments is a logistical nightmare that could take time to arrange in the middle of a shutdown. Now, several states have said they will use their own funds to cover any shortfall in SNAP funding. However, the Trump administration has warned it will not reimburse states. Several states, including Arkansas, New Hampshire, and Washington, have all announced measures to help support food banks and pantries. What is clear is that a lot of money has disappeared from people's food budgets, and anti-hunger advocates say that food banks alone will not be able to make up the difference. They say we're in uncharted territory. This is what Elizabeth Keever chief resource officer at Harvesters, which is a food bank in Kansas City, Missouri. This is what she said on Sunday. She said it's nearly impossible to make up the gap that SNAP is leaving us with, but we're doing everything we can to make sure that we are easing this burden for folks. It's just this really scary moment where there's a lot of uncertainty. So the gap is massive. And at the end of the day, food banks can't necessarily fill it. This is all just really bad that people have to go through this and then they have to wait. No telling how long, okay, before the benefits are actually even dispersed. Hopefully, it won't be any later than Wednesday, but still, they're only getting a portion of it, not the entire thing. Because Trump says all of the money isn't there. Well, where is the rest of the money, Trump? Okay, I just wonder where the rest of the money is. Did he spend it? I have questions. And then here's another thing I thought was interesting what Trump's administration did. They issued a retailer's notice. They sent this out the other day. The USDA sent an email to grocery stores telling them they're prohibited from offering special discounts to customers affected by the SNAP funding lapse. So they can't be giving anybody that gets SNAP, can't be giving you nothing free, no discounts just because you didn't get all of your benefits. Okay, here it is right here. This is what they sent to all of the retailers. I want y'all to pay attention. They are low down and dirty because why in the hell do they care if people want to give discounts? Is it coming out of their pocket? Do y'all see this? Do y'all see it? Let me read you what it says. It says retailer notice. Put on my spectacles. Retailer notice. Reminder. SNAP EBT authorized retailers must comply with the SNAP equal treatment rule. You must offer eligible foods at the same prices and on the same terms and conditions to SNAP EBT customers as other customers, except that sales tax cannot be charged on SNAP purchases. You cannot treat SNAP EBT customers differently than any other customer, and offering discounts or services only to SNAP paying customers is a SNAP violation unless you have a SNAP equal treatment waiver. Okay, do y'all see that? Somebody said, just a nightmare. This will drive up theft even further and lead to more hunger. I know the cruelty is the point, but it's still hard to believe this is the reality we live in. Okay? So anyway, that's the comment someone left. So that's what they're saying. Retailers can't be doing y'all any favors. Can't be doing anyone any favors. Okay, it's got to stick to the same thing they've been doing. Don't start trying to change it up, or there's going to be consequences. According to Trump, you'll be in violation of the SNAP rules and regulations. Okay. And then let's talk about Rob Schmidt, because Rob Schmidt came out and accused people on SNAP of getting their weave and nails done. Where do we heard that from? Let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. He has a lot of nerve. Now, mind you, when he said weave and nails, he's talking about Black people. But the bottom line is, who really commits the most fraud with SNAP benefits? It's not Black people, okay? So he needs to sit down somewhere.
You have Republican.
Hold on, let me put an overlay on this. I don't need any copyright issues.
I mean, this is a program that has exploded over the last 20 years, and we are just dumping $100 billion a year into a program that we all know is being so woefully corrupted and exploited. And people are selling their benefits. People are using them to get their nails done, to get their weaves in their hair. I mean, this is a really ugly program. It's weird to me to hear Josh Hawley screaming that we have to protect this and that we're not talking about why is it so ridiculously expensive and exploited, and what can we do to make it better?
I just provided my colleagues another one of my charts yesterday that showed from the inception in the 70s until President Obama, we would fluctuate somewhere between 6 and 10% of Americans on food stamps, right? Then Obama came in, dramatically increased eligibility. Now it's between 10 and 15%. Right now you have 42 million Americans, 12.3% of our population on food stamps. That is not a metric of success. it's a metric of failure. And no, I mean, that program needs to be dramatically reformed. We are making way too many Americans dependent on government. That's what Obamacare did with the Medicaid expansion, which is really pushing out disabled children from care because of people, because they get paid more, would prefer providing medical services to single, able-bodied, working-age childless adults. I mean, it's. I mean, the damage Democrats do with their supposedly well-intentioned programs, but completely poorly designed programs, is incalculable.
Yeah, I don't think they're even well intentioned. I think it's all just a game to get as many people on them as you can, because then you've got a very reliant base of voters. If they need that program, if they need that money, they're always going to vote for you. So it's just a game of how many can we get on there, and that's why the moment you start talking about doing it responsibly, they freak out, because that's going to be cutting people off of it. I mean, that's the worst thing. The worst thing for their product.
I can't argue with, the Democrats are all about growing government, which means making more Americans dependent on government.
Yeah.
That's not the way to improve our society and really improve those people's lives.
Okay, so with that all being said, now here's the thing. I agree with some of what they said. At the end of the day, people should not, I mean, I've said this myself, people should not be solely dependent upon the government, because they can give and then they can take away. And then you find yourself in exactly the predicament that people are currently in. Okay, so I agree with them on that. But for them to be sitting there talking about people using it to get weave and nails done, they're acting as though Black people are the only ones out here committing welfare fraud, okay, and using it for things which they need not. That's how they're acting, but that's just not true. Okay, that's just absolutely not true. So with that all being said, let's go to the stats. And then we're going to go to what they're saying on TikTok. Let's go to the stats. Fact check. Let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Okay, fact check. Are Black people the majority of welfare recipients? Even with consistent data, the association between Black people and welfare has remained prevalent, especially the welfare queen myth. The phrase is meant to depict a Black woman exploiting the welfare system for personal gain. Now, white Americans make up the largest percentage of welfare recipients, not Black Americans. The welfare queen stereotype falsely targeted Black women and was politically amplified in the 1970s. Strict welfare requirements debunk the myth that the system is easily exploited. Now, the claim is that the majority of people on welfare assistance are Black. Welfare queens exist and they constantly take advantage of government social support programs. That's false. You see, the U.S. spends over $1 trillion on social safety net programs from housing aid to child nutrition. Welfare assistance alone accounts for about $15 billion. Yet, despite the diversity of people who rely on these programs, racial stereotypes persist. Black communities are still unfairly linked to welfare fraud, a myth rooted in systemic racism and media bias. While economic disparities cut across race, age, and gender, Black Americans have faced a unique legacy of discrimination in jobs, education, and housing that continues to shape their access to opportunity. Now, the majority of those who receive government assistance in the U.S. are not Black. Using research from the Urban Institute, gathering data from 59 million people, the graph below presents the largest percentage of welfare recipients in 2019. The majority of recipients were white, 43%, followed by Hispanic, 26%, and Black, 23%. Y'all see that? Do y'all hear it? Okay, these figures fall in line with population demographics and debunk the misconception that welfare programs are predominantly associated with the Black community. Okay, so they can miss us with it. All right, please take a look. Please take a look. Y'all see this? Okay, the largest portion is white folk at 43%. All right, and then right here, you have Hispanics. And then they're at 26%. You have Black people at 23%. And then you have the Asian Pacific Islander, Alaskan Native American Indian, right, at 8%. So I'm sorry, but they need to lay off of us. Now, even with consistent data, the association between Black people and welfare has remained prevalent, especially the welfare queen myth. The phrase is meant to depict a Black woman exploiting the welfare system for personal gain. The welfare queen only has more children in order to gain social benefits, first coined in the 1970s with the media's coverage of the Linda Taylor case and popularized during Ronald Reagan's 1976 presidential campaign. The narrative has stigmatized Black women for attempting to access the same type of social programs as other racial groups. Taylor was a singular case. She was convicted in 1977 for assuming multiple identities and committing welfare fraud. She was also suspected of kidnapping and possibly having mental health issues. Her case was excessively discussed in mainstream media. Okay, the Chicago Tribune first came up with the name welfare queen. Now, even if they do not receive government assistance, the pressure for Black women to perform and improve otherwise still remains. Across the U.S., welfare assistance, also known as the TANF program after 1996, has different requirements. The idea that a large community of Black individuals, like the mythical welfare queen, are somehow gaming a federal program inherently designed to be temporary. The TANF grant has a 5-year lifetime limit to families with an adult recipient. Just does not add up simply because of the limitations involved. Now, the TANF federal grant is given to states to run their own welfare programs with strict conditions. As a recipient, if you don't adhere to the requirements in your state, you will not be able to participate in the program. Okay, now no matter your background, it would be very difficult to take advantage or repeatedly commit welfare fraud if you already tasked with work requirements, maintaining documentation, and have a time limit in the program. Now, research consistently shows that the majority of welfare recipients are not engaged in fraudulent activities or living a life of luxury at the expense of taxpayers. The vast majority of individuals relying on government assistance, no matter their ethnic, racial background, do so out of necessity, facing economic hardships, unemployment, or other challenging circumstances. For Black people, stereotyping all female welfare recipients based on the ghost of Linda Taylor and her exaggerated portrayal in the media is both unjust and counterproductive. Okay, but that's what they've always done, and that's what they'll continue to do. Okay, and Section 8 even was also started for white women initially. Okay, it was started for white women initially whose husbands had gone off to war. Okay, so anyway, this is just what it is. They want to make Black people look so bad, but at the end of the day, we're not the ones disproportionately out here on welfare. And also, let's talk about the toast lady. Burnt Toast Lady was sitting there talking trash about people on welfare, but she was on welfare herself. Okay, she was on welfare herself. And when that came out, that's probably why she deleted that video. But, like I said, people still had it.
Natasha, is this you?
I need money. Yes, I do. I need money. Yes, lots of money.
It's always the poor lifting down the poor, because when the government failed you, you feel like the government should fail everyone else. Are you what they call a welfare queen? And yes, that video appears to be 10 years old. Your financial situation may have changed, likely for the better, but that video sure came back to haunt you 10 years later, right? Or lack of empathy for those that are going to lose their SNAP benefits next month shows me that you likely relied on government assistance yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Your income bracket may have improved in the last 10 years, and hey, good for you. Everyone has their highs and their lows in life. So just remember that. But remember where you came from. It was my tax dollars paying your benefits. You're welcome.
I've been on food stamps before because I had to. I was in a place where I needed them. I didn't live off of them though. I used them for as long as, I needed them for, and until I found a job and started building up my life. Food stamps were made as a temporary thing for people to help you get back on your feet, so that way you could eat in the meantime while you're trying to get up, back on your feet.
Adults aged 18 through 64 who do not have children under the age of 14 and do not have disabilities are limited to 3 months of SNAP benefits every 3 years if they are not working or in a work training program minimum 20 hours a week. It's almost like you took advantage of the system and now you're mad that other people get those benefits. And I don't say take advantage in a manipulative way. You used the benefit available to you because you qualified at that time. Are you that dense?
You cannot go and buy whole food ingredients because you think they're too expensive. I think you're full of crap. I just went to Sam's Club recently and spent less than $400 and filled up my freezer and my refrigerator with whole food ingredients.
Do you even hear yourself? You just went to Sam's Club. For one grocery trip, you spent $400. Refer to my last video where you'll see the average New Jersey resident where this toad lives receives $194 a month per person, $6 a day. And she just can't find it in her little brain up here, rubbing her last 2 brain cells together to understand how someone who's bringing in, what did it come out to? About $1,600 a month after taxes to live on, bills everything. You can't understand why they don't just go to Sam's Club and fill up their cart for $400 with Whole Foods instead of buying processed canned goods that last, stable shelf life, high in sodium, keeps you full. Like, you have to try to be this illiterate. You really do.
Yeah, she was trying hard, okay? Now, everything that she said as to why she was on food stamps for the time that she was is the same reason why most people are on food stamps, till they can do better, until they can get out of a struggle, until they're making more money and they no longer need it. It is for temporary assistance for most people. There are some people who abuse the system. We know it. Just like the lady who said she'd been on it for 13 years, okay? She was one. And, you know, for those of you who didn't recognize her because she had her hair combed for once, that was the toast lady.
For those of you complaining about the rising cost of medication, what'd you do with your medication from last month? I mean, like, did you try to stretch it? Or did you just go willy-nilly and take it as prescribed? You know what I mean? Like, did you cut your pill in half? Did you skip a dose? I don't know, did you maybe try to stick it in a piece of corn so that you could swallow it, shit it out whole, and then take it again? How about not getting sick? Did you try that? Let's be honest, you're probably sick because you're a Democrat, so nobody feels sorry for you. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Now that was hilarious to me. Okay, she said, "What did you all do with the prescriptions you had last month?" Then when she said, "Did you try to put it in a piece of corn so you could shit it out and then take it again?" I am done. Okay, the internet is absolutely undefeated. But now listen. So earlier, I forgot to show you all this. Someone said something about Trump and Halloween. Let me show you all the difference between a Halloween for the kids with Trump and one with Obama. Okay, Trump is so retarded.
Happy Halloween. Hey, Prince, what's going on, man? Purple rain. Purple rain.
Do you know who they are? They're the friendly media. They're the threat. That's the press. Are you crying? Come here, sweetie. You okay, honey?
How you doing? Superman, you gotta give me a high five. You look so powerful. High five. That's oh, you're so strong.
Oh, you're gonna grow up to be like your parents? Don't answer. That can only get me in trouble, that question.
Hey, how you doing, fireman? Good to see you. How are you? Happy Halloween. Ghostbusters. Look at this. Jimmy Fallon.
Who likes this? Well, you have no...
Happy Halloween.
Do you hear how Trump's talking to those poor kids? Did you all hear how he's talking to who likes this? He holds up a toy and says, "Who likes this? Oh, are you crying, sweetie?" He is the worst. I'm talking about just say it, okay? Clearly say it. Now, anyway, with that all being said, let's Sharon, Sharon said, "Dang, Trump is boring as hell." Reggie said, "I noticed a vast difference." Oh my goodness, those kids were looking at him like he was crazy. And he actually is. Okay, in my opinion. Now let's go to this report from MSNBC, and then we're going to go to what a couple of people, a couple of videos of what they're saying on the internet about the SNAP benefits.
Administration has now told a federal court how the U.S. Department of Agriculture plans to partially pay for SNAP food benefits this month. The funding expired on Saturday. MSNBC's Fallon Gallagher has been following this. On Friday, we talked a lot about what was going on in Massachusetts, but this 8-page response, as I understand it from the USDA to the Rhode Island State Council versus the Rhode Island State Council of Churches is about Rhode Island. Tell us what this says.
Yeah, Chris, so this ruling is actually more important than that Boston case that we've been talking about last week. So on Friday, you'll remember a federal judge in Rhode Island ruled that the Trump administration has to pay these SNAP benefits. Now, that judge gave the administration until today at noon to say whether they were going to pay the full benefits using the partial benefits using the contingency funds, or pay full benefits using additional funds to supplement that contingency fund. Regardless, the judge said you have to pay using those contingency funds. So we just heard now at that noon deadline from the federal government saying we are going to pay with the contingency funds to cover partial SNAP benefits beginning today. So now they'll begin that process trying to figure out how they're going to pay partially to cover SNAP for the month of November. That means that these people probably won't get their benefits today. That means that the federal government will start the process of sending out these calculations of how much each state is going to get for these partial benefits today. And it's probably going to be a lapse of a couple of days before real people are actually getting these benefits. But this is something that the federal government was really concerned over last week. Specifically in that Boston hearing, when I was in court, they were making the case that it would be, quote, catastrophic if they had to do this, because they were concerned about how they would do the math to figure out exactly how much each state gets, where it goes. Remember, this has never been done before. SNAP benefits have never been suspended before during a shutdown, including the one during the president's first administration. So we are kind of in uncharted territory, but a judge is saying you have to start doing this, and the federal government has said we are going to comply and we will start doing these partial benefits today.
The Trump administration has now told a federal court.
Okay. So now here's what a MAGA member had to say about for the people out here talking about they're going to be robbing people. And let me just say, I can't even get mad at this woman, because my thing is, why are people sitting out here talking about going out robbing and stealing? And then you're not even, some of them weren't just talking about going in the stores to steal. They were talking about robbing people as they're walking to their car with their groceries. Y'all heard it. I showed you the video. Okay. Black and white folks talking about they're going to be robbing people of their groceries while they're walking to the car. And we literally saw a video of a black woman doing that to a white woman. And the white woman was recording her. Honey, I wouldn't have been recording her. I'd have been putting pause on her and taking my groceries back. Because, girl, try me if you want to. Okay? But, some of these MAGA people, they're going to be out there with those hammers. Okay? And I'm not talking about the kind that hit nails. Okay? Because some of them are looking for a reason. Like this lady right here. She said it. She said she's been waiting on a reason. So give it to her if you want to, because it's all crazy for people to be out here talking about stealing. And if you're going to steal, why would you be announcing it and broadcasting it? Like it's something to be proud of.
People are talking about robbing people leaving, coming out of the grocery stores with their carts and their bags full of groceries. Y'all are about to play a real hefty game of fuck around and find out. Those of y'all that live in an open carry state, I highly suggest y'all are carrying this weekend. Make sure y'all are packing. We have been patiently waiting and waiting and waiting for a situation exactly like this to fucking happen.
And this sorry, pathetic piece of shit excuse for a human is why we need to be done completely with the MAGA party. Now, what I mean by that is stop trying to talk to them. Stop trying to convert them. Because if anyone is still supporting this, it is because either they are so incredibly racist that it is blinding any other type of judgment, or they have such a low IQ that they are able just to fall for this day after day after day. We need to turn our attention to the 90 million motherfuckers who sat the last election out. That's our new target audience right there.
Now y'all are talking about robbing people.
Okay, at the end of the day, we the people said, get your popcorn ready, folks. Okay, like, please don't be out here trying to steal. Okay, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you want some drama and you want it to be looking like the Hunger Games or the Purge, okay, or whatever, try to take somebody's groceries after they've paid for it. Okay, specifically somebody like me, because I'm not about to be out there fighting. Okay, you let Mr. Smith and Mr. Wesson do the talking. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. Because at the end of the day, if somebody accosts me and tries to take my groceries that I paid for, I'm clearly gonna fear for my life. And this is a stand your ground state, so people need to be careful when they're out here talking about robbing other folks of their groceries. Okay, I'm just saying. Just saying. Ugh. Narmer said, look at yourselves, Democrats, for not supporting reparations. Okay. Byron said exactly, Queen. Okay, Claudette said, I wouldn't advise it. Rose Gold said exactly. Okay, I'm just saying, this is crazy. You're out here telling. Dorada said that the Queen sips her tea. Honey, I am so serious, honey. Don't try it with me because I'm not the one. Okay, I promise you I'm not. Y'all, I don't want y'all to see me on the news. Please pay attention.
Woman on the Lily Gaddis show on the most racist platform, X, thought it was cute to wear blackface for Halloween and mock black women.
They wear wigs that can be pulled out. They put braids in their hair that could rip the rest of their hair out. And then they complain about having alopecia. No, it's self-induced alopecia.
Baby, let's talk about it. Because every time something like this happens, it's the same story. Y'all hate when we wear wigs, lashes, and long nails. But spend every dollar trying to look just like the women you swear you don't respect. You want to talk about our attitude? No, that's confidence. Something money and blackface can't buy you. You want our lips, our hips, our rhythm, and glow. That's not appreciation, y'all. That's obsession. And it's getting embarrassing. So go ahead and paint your face. You'll wash it off tonight. But what you can't wash off is your jealousy, your ignorance, or the internet's memory. So comment, we are the blueprint, and repost this video, guys, because mocking black women is not edgy. It's career suicide. That's it. That's all. Bye. So a white woman on the
Now, with that all being said, I'm sorry. I should have, told you all about that, prepared you for it. Lily Gaddis. She's the female version of Charlie Kirk, as some call her. Now, she got famous and went viral on the internet for using the N-word. She was singing a song where they said N-I-G-G-A, and she decided to say it. She thought that would get her some clout. And, it did, amongst racist devils like herself. But anyway, she clearly hates on black women. And I've heard that she has a biracial child. So maybe that's why she hates on black women. Because, a lot of these Karens who date black men are always hating on the sisters. And I know why. Okay, but here she is, full on blackface, looking like a whole hot ass mess. She looks like she literally belongs in a toilet. Okay, that shade is clearly not working for her. But so she went on this whole thing talking about how she wanted to be the most horrific thing ever that she could possibly be for Halloween. And so she decided to be a black woman. I find it all interesting. But let's hear what this woman had to say about her, because I absolutely loved it. And it was no lies detected, and I agreed with everything she said. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share.
So last night was Halloween, as many people know. And I decided to dress up like everyone else does. You know, people are out there dressed like Satan and witches, and they're dressed like every horrible thing under the sun. Well, I decided to dress up as something, the most horrifying thing I could think of, which is the black woman, which is a person who is angry and fed up that their EBT card has been declined, that their race card is no longer working in this new climate, and that they're not receiving the reparations that they think they deserve, despite the fact that they did not build this country, contrary to what they say all the time. And they are certainly not improving the country. They are actually doing everything in their power to destroy.
Lily Gaddis, the self-confessed unashamed racist, who I think should be best described as one of many white female versions of Charlie Kirk. She's trying to out Charlie Kirk. She, like some other white people, decided to wear blackface for Halloween. And her inspiration for the most horrible thing she could think of being for Halloween is the black woman, as you've just heard her described. And I hear some of you are mad. Why are you mad? Fix your face. You don't get mad, you get even. And I'll tell you how you get even with the Garden Variety Racist KKK brand, nothing special, unoriginal waste of human space that is Lily Gaddis and her ilk. You match them word for word, tone for tone, and then verbally bury them in their own crap. Because you see, facts always destroys the obtuseness, stupidity, bigotry, hate-filled, utterly ignoramus that people like her are. You have to know the facts about these people and use it against them. Lily Gaddis and her kind are of the white people who roasted black people alive over Spitfires and ate them, who lynched black lives with impunity, who fed crying black babies to alligators as bait, who burnt down black businesses and black towns out of pure jealousy of their prosperity. You don't get mad at people like this. No. You take their inferiority complex, low IQ, and irrational fear of black people and use it as content. They give this to us free 365 days a year, from their caucasity to their laryngitis.
Okay, so y'all heard that. She's not the Karengitis. Okay, I mean, absolutely, that's what you do. You see, these people like her who think like her, don't let them tick you off, because all she's really showing to us is that she wants to be us. Okay, because girl, if you really were so disgusted with black people, there's no way in hell you would put on blackface. Okay? There is no way she would put on blackface if she was so disgusted by black people. She clearly wants to be black. Anybody who doesn't look like me, who puts on blackface, you really want to look like me. That's what it is. Okay, that's just a fact. Now, they can deny it all they want. They can deny it all they want at the end of the day. Okay, it is what it is. The facts are the facts. All right. And so, with that all being said, I just find it very interesting and that she wants to talk so bad about black women, clearly obsessed with us. And like I said, that's nothing shocking. Nothing shocking at all. People better take their kids out of the school her kids go to, says Shawshana. Okay. Uh Jacko says, I remember a lady lost her melatonin completely. Whew, that sounds scary. Okay, so anyway, let's continue, because here's the thing. We always gonna have these people that want to be like us and sit there and talk about us, talk about our full lips, okay, talk about our noses, talk about our skin tone, our big butts and all that, but steady going out here spending money to get those same things. Why would you do it? Why would you go out there and sit in the sun to tan and bake, go get your lips done, injected with collagen and all of that, if you think it's so unattractive and it's so ugly? And if you think black women have such bad attitudes and are so mean and nasty, why are they always trying to act like us and trying to talk with our vernacular? Make that make sense. Okay? Make that make sense. And here's the thing. Even if everything she said about us were true, why does she care? Why does she care? That's all I wonder, because I don't even concern myself with people like her until they're talking about people who look like me. That's when I hone in on them. But other than that, I'm not thinking about them or any of you. Because why are they always thinking about us? Racist people are always concerned, obsessed, worried about, okay, and so bothered by Black people. The fact that we just exist. We don't have to be doing anything to them for them to be upset. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about Trump. Because here's what they're saying, and also Mike Johnson was lying for Trump so pathetically. Okay, they say Trump's lost his mind. This is what somebody says. Trump spirals into self-destruction as his latest unhinged post goes off the rails, turning on allies who are no longer falling in line. Didn't I tell you all this days ago? Okay, it's so funny that the media reports these things after I've said them already. I told you all that Trump was turning on allies and had allies turning on us and looking at us all with a whole side eye because he's a whole fool. So let's get into it. President Donald J. Trump has been growing noticeably agitated in recent weeks, watching his influence over Washington erode as the government shutdown drags on and key allies begin to distance themselves. Now, once the undisputed center of Republican power, he now appears increasingly frustrated as party leaders hesitate to echo his demands or defend his every move. So that irritation burst into full public view on Saturday when Trump launched into another online tirade, berating his fellow Republicans as weak and stupid in all caps, and demanding they terminate the Senate filibuster to force through his stalled agenda. Now, Trump, who has spent weeks blaming deranged Democrat politicians for the crisis, turned his anger inward this time, warning that Senate Republicans' refusal to end the filibuster could destroy the country, he said. It's going to destroy the country, Trump? Okay. I mean, as if he hasn't already done that himself. Single-handedly, mind you. Now, the outburst on Truth Social marked the latest flashpoint in a confrontation that has paralyzed Washington and left millions of Americans uncertain about their paychecks, food, and healthcare benefits. Okay, here he is, this idiot. Let's see what he's talking about. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Shawshana said a Black man must have rejected her and hurt her feelings. Okay, I don't know what's going on with these people. Honey, they just be hating on us for no reason.
I'm always going to meet. All they have to do is open up the country. Let them open up the country, and we'll meet. We'll meet very quickly. But they have to open up the country. It's their fault. Everything is their fault. It's so easily solved.
So easily solved, but he doesn't even know how to solve it. Didn't he ask for help in trying to disperse the funds for SNAP? Idiots. Remember, Republicans, regardless of the Schumer shutdown, the Democrats will terminate the filibuster the first chance they get. Don't be weak and stupid. This is Trump. Fight, 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 fight. Win, win, win. Republicans, you will rue the day that you didn't terminate the filibuster. Be tough, be smart, and win. This is much bigger than the shutdown. This is the survival of our country. So dramatic. Now, the insulting tirade came just 2 days after Trump made a similar demand, calling on the GOP to use the nuclear option to abolish the filibuster altogether, saying because of the fact that the Democrats have gone stone cold crazy, the choice is clear. Initiate the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster, and make America great again. Do y'all know this man is crazy? Like we can't even joke about it at this point. It's not even funny at this point. You all really know this man is insane, right? You already know that. I mean, please tell me. The writing is on the wall. Nene says, help us, Jesus. Exactly. Exactly. Okay? We need help of the highest order. Okay? Calling upon the Most High to fix it. Because this is really sad. So far, however, there's no sign the Senate has moved on Trump's demands. Trump's leadership has faced fresh scrutiny amid reports of verbal slips, erratic decision-making, and low morale inside his administration. Critics on social media summed up the mood on Trump in blunt terms, saying his mind is gone. Okay, someone said He's so diminished physically and mentally that he's just vapor at this point. Nobody really listens anymore. They just keep him happy now while they screw up the country and grift for all their worth. They know it will all end soon. This is what somebody posted. I mean, the fact that Trump posted this on social media 2 days ago, talking about deranged Democrats, weak and stupid, destroying America, be tough, be smart, and win. This man has really lost it. He's seriously unhinged at this point. I hope y'all know. I mean, sounds more desperate. This is what somebody said. Sounds more and more desperate to me. Someone said political blackmailer is all he is. He only cares about himself and what he'll get out of every deal. This is all true. I told you all this myself. He can't be gone soon enough from politics. Whoever said a businessman could run the government? Yeah, right. Into the ground. The filibuster, a century-old Senate rule that effectively requires 60 votes to advance most legislation, remains Democrats' only real leverage in the chamber where Republicans hold 53 seats. Now, Trump's push to eliminate it has alarmed lawmakers who warn the move could permanently damage how Congress operates. Trump's aides said that he made the decision after giving the matter a great deal of thought during his flight home from Asia on Thursday. Yet the timing underscored how consumed he became by these stalemates and by a party that no longer moves in lockstep with him. So according to Politico, they say the White House initially believed the shutdown was winnable, that Democrats would cave quickly under public pressure. See, that's what they were planning. I told y'all, they felt like if they have us thinking it's the Democrats' fault because they're not agreeing to the terms and conditions, and they're the reason that people aren't getting their SNAP benefits or whatever, they figured everybody would go in on the Democrats, but it didn't work. It backfired because everybody knew that Trump was just lying, okay, that his whole administration was lying, and that they're the reason, okay, for all these inconveniences and the trouble that people are having to deal with. So anyway, they thought they would cave quickly under public pressure. Early defections from a few Democratic senators seemed to support that optimism, but weeks later, little progress has been made. Federal workers have now missed paychecks and frustration is building across agencies. But weeks later, little progress has been made. Federal workers missed their first full-time paychecks this past week, they say. SNAP, the Federal Food Assistance Program, has run out of funding along with some early childhood programs, while air travel delays are worsening with the holidays approaching. Now, a federal judge in Rhode Island on Friday ordered the U.S. Department of Agriculture to release overdue payments from the SNAP program just a day before its funding expired. Okay, so we already know about that. And then we have Mike Johnson, Senator for Testimony. Bless his heart. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, this is what it says. Mike Johnson lies shamelessly. The president is desperate for SNAP benefits to flow to the American citizens who desperately rely on it. The SNAP situation has legal impediments. Now, first of all, he said that Trump's desperate to get everybody their SNAP benefits. Well, we already know the SNAP is one of the programs that Trump absolutely wants to cut. Okay.
Last week on Friday, you said that if there was any way to fund SNAP, that the Trump administration would be happy to do it. Now, 2 judges have come out saying that it is likely illegal to stop SNAP payments. One is giving the Trump administration until today to make a decision on how to move forward. What have you told President Trump about how you want him to move forward?
Well, he and I talked about this quite a bit over the weekend, multiple times. The president is desperate for SNAP benefits to flow to the American citizens who desperately rely upon it. He has bent over backwards, as you know, to get the troops paid, to keep WIC funding going. He's found creative solutions. The SNAP situation, as Secretary Rollins and I explained at the press conference on Friday, has legal impediments to that. It was understood, and we got legal advice, and it made sense to me that the contingency fund and SNAP could not be used unless the underlying funds were flowing. As Secretary Rollins relayed to you, this is pretty commonsensical. The contingency fund is an extra, in layman's terms, it's an extra fund that is there, for example, if you have an unexpected natural occurrence like a hurricane or something. And
Okay, this man is just pathetic, okay? He is just pathetic. Sitting here playing dumb, okay? Sitting here playing dumb. Just so annoying, okay, at the end of the day. And then, they went in on Jake Tapper from CNN. They say he joined Team MAGA, and then he got slammed for not asking Trump's aid for deflecting the snap backlash by blaming Obama with a gross lie on live TV, they say. First of all, how is Obama getting blamed for anything? Obama hasn't been in the White House in years. I find it also interesting, but let's talk about it. CNN anchor Jake Tapper faced a wave of backlash this week after an interview with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent veered off course when Bessent dodged questions about President Donald Trump's lavish Mar-a-Lago party and instead took aim at former President Barack Obama. The exchange aired amid public outrage over Trump's decision to host a Gatsby-themed Halloween party at his Palm Beach resort, while millions of Americans face the imminent loss of food assistance due to the ongoing government shutdown. So Trump's out here having a good old time partying down. Okay, funding for SNAP program, which supports roughly 42 million people, was set to expire on November the 1st. Now, during the State of the Union, Tapper pressed Bessent on whether the optics of a Gatsby-themed party and a $300 million ballroom project were appropriate as Americans went without paychecks and food benefits, not to mention health care. Saying Obama is out on the campaign trail, but not surprisingly, he's been pretty critical of President Trump, Tapper said, before airing a clip of the former president. Obama had joked that he has been focused on some critical issues like paving over the Rose Garden so folks don't get mud on their shoes and building a $300 million ballroom. And if you don't get an invitation to the next White House shindig, you can always watch the festivities on Trump's live feed on Truth Social. Now, when the camera returned to Tapper, he linked Obama's remarks to the Mar-a-Lago bash, saying these comments came within a day of the president hosting a Gatsby-themed Halloween party at Mar-a-Lago while SNAP benefits are soon to run out. Okay, you can understand the general theme. I've heard Republicans even express concern about the optics here of parties and lavish ballrooms and such. Like a lot of Americans are hurting. What's your response? Freddie had Nathan to say. Okay, he sidestepped that question. So let's go to it. That's what he did. He completely sidestepped the question. These people don't care. These people do not care what's going on with the American citizens. Okay, they're out here living lavish, having a good time. Trump only wanted to be in office so he could fatten his pockets and build more generational wealth for him and his kids, because that's all he's been doing. Okay, and I think that he's committing, I think that he's money laundering and committing embezzlement. That's just what I think.
Obama is out on the campaign trail, and not surprisingly, he's been pretty critical of President Trump. Take a listen.
He has been focused on some critical issues like paving over the Rose Garden so folks don't get mud on their shoes, and building a $300 million ballroom. And if you don't get an invitation to the next White House shindig, you can always watch the festivities on Trump's live feed on Truth Social.
Now, these comments came within a day of the president hosting a Gatsby, pardon me, a Gatsby-themed Halloween party at Mar-a-Lago while SNAP benefits are set to run out. And you can understand the general theme. I've heard Republicans even express concern about the general optics here of parties and lavish ballrooms and such, while a lot of Americans are hurting. What's your response?
My response is that the Democrats should reopen the government. And, I believe President Obama played a record amount of golf of any president. So, I'm not sure why he's out there throwing stones. And, that it's unfortunate. We've got 52 Republican senators who have voted to reopen the government, 3 brave Democrats, and I'm calling here on 5 moderate Democrats to be heroes. Let's reopen the government.
This week, Obama.
Crap. He's full of crap. Okay, they all are. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. Even if they do keep the government shut down because the Democrats are not complying, why did y'all cut off the SNAP benefits? Because they've never done that before. You didn't have to do it now. They did it because they wanted to. They wanted to see people out here struggling and starving at the end of the day, okay? That's what that's all about. Who do they think they're fooling? Okay, and him bringing up Obama was just a way for him to gaslight and clearly deflect. What the hell does Obama have to do with what's going on right now in 2025? And no matter how much golf he played, okay, and Trump plays a lot of golf too. So what's he talking about? Now, let's talk about this animal sedative that was found in an illegal substance sample after a mass overdose in Penn North. Did y'all hear about this? Let's get into it. Y'all be careful out here using these illegal substances. I know some of y'all just be out here doing the most.
Mackenzie, thank you. An animal sedative is being linked to a recent mass overdose in Baltimore's Penn North neighborhood. In the most recent mass overdose at the beginning of the month, 7 people were taken to the hospital.
Now we are learning more about what's on the streets. Fox 45's Jessica Babb joins us live with the very latest. Jessica.
Individuals attending a recent advisory board meeting say health officials from the city talked about how this animal sedative was found in some samples taken from that most recent mass overdose here in Penn North. And officials I talked with today say it's extremely potent and is dangerous. In Baltimore's Penn North,
I think it's crazy.
The site of several mass overdoses, including earlier this month. Officials say 11 people overdosed, 7 of them landing in the hospital.
By me being a recovering addict, that should give me something to think about not to do.
But now we're learning a strong animal sedative was detected in some of those drugs.
It's a very scary thing. It's like putting 3 bullets in a gun and playing Russian roulette with yourself.
That substance is called medetomidine.
It's a veterinary tranquilizer. It's similar to xylazine, but it's even, I think, 200 times more stronger than xylazine. So it's a sedative that is often mixed with illicit drugs. It's a cutting agent.
It can slow someone's respiratory functions down, which can be dangerous. And officials say treatments like naloxone, which can reverse some side effects, aren't as effective.
It had come from Philadelphia, is where initially people were seeing it. And unfortunately, we were starting to get chemical analysis back from the lab.
The Baltimore Harm Reduction Coalition's outreach team works in Penn North at least twice a week, providing naloxone and other supplies.
Give them that Novocaine. Save a life.
They say over the years, a number of additives have appeared in the drug supply, medetomidine being the latest.
You're gambling your life. That's something to think about, to be scared of, not to do it.
And while Baltimore City leaders are working to address the overdoses and opioid crisis, and some council members like Mark Conway have voiced frustration on the lack of progress tackling open-air drug markets.
I will continue to press for real action here.
Some of these drugs are making their way to Carroll County. Alan Culver, the special counsel to the state's attorney, says in some cases, drugs are even being tracked back to the Penn North area.
It's obviously concerning for us because a large percentage of the substance abusers in our community purchase those drugs from Baltimore City. So we know those drugs are coming up our way, and we're going to have to deal with those effects.
People out here crying for help, and they don't know how to cry for help.
Now, I reached out to the city's health department this morning with a long list of questions asking how this animal sedative will impact their response. So far, I'm still waiting to hear back. In Baltimore, Jessica Babb, Fox 45 News.
Well, you all heard that. That is very sad. People out here doing all kinds of illegal substances, and then people put in animal tranquilizers and all kind of things in it. You don't know what you're getting. Okay, these people need to stop doing the illegal substances. They need to try to get help. Okay, if you have a rug addiction problem, please get help. Okay, from somewhere. Do yourself a favor. Okay, and then she's talking about this is, people risking their lives because they're putting this animal tranquilizer or animal sedative in there, but people are risking their lives anyway when you're doing them on a regular basis. Okay? Risking their lives anyway. So anyway, that all been said, that's y'all's lifeline for today. If you know somebody doing illegal substances, you might want to talk to them and tell them that it's getting real dangerous out here and try to talk some sense into them so maybe they can get off of it. Okay, so anyway, I'm out of here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Gaddis goes live. Okay, and I will see you all in the morning with your morning wake-up call. Until next time, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm